Councillor Lindsay is here, Councillor Evans.
Yeah. And can you tell me now about the applicant, Mr. Etienne? Mr. Etienne, are you here?
I am here, yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, thank you. And you?
Okay.
Now, are you going to be speaking for yourself?
I will be, yes.
Okay. Do you have anyone else with you or to speak?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's fine. Very good. I guess we are ready to roll. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to an online meeting of RBKC's licensing subcommittee, where we are considering objections from the police and environmental health to a proposed 10 for the front area of Flat B, 237 Ladbroke Grove, London West 10 6HG. I'm Councillor Janet Evans, and I will be chairing this meeting. It is being held via Microsoft Teams, and it is also being streamed live. I can confirm I have no declarations to make in relation to this item. I am joined by Councillor Marie-Therese Rossi and Councillor David Lindsay. Councillors, can you please introduce yourself and confirm whether or not you have any declarations to make?
Hello, I am Councillor Marie-Therese Rossi. I represent Redcliffe Ward and I have no declarations.
I'm David Lindsay. I represent Norland Ward and I too have no declarations.
Good. We are also joined remotely by Paul Phelan from the Council's licensing team, our legal advisor, Heidi Titcomb, our committee officers, Holly Weaver, Nima Mahoudin, and Daniela Healy, who will be monitoring our connections and help with any technical issues you may have. Before we start, there are a few ground rules. Please keep your microphones on mute until you are invited to speak. Please make sure your mobile phone is off until you are invited. Make sure they're on silent until you're invited to speak. And please keep your cameras off unless you are speaking to avoid connection problems. Please note that the Microsoft Teams chat function is not monitored, so please do not use it. We won't be able to see it. Everyone should have received the procedure for this meeting regarding the use of cameras and how to connect back in if you lose a connection. Thank you. But please let us know if you're having trouble. Holly Weaver, can you please run through the list of the persons wishing to speak today?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. So we have the applicant here today, Adam Etienne, and then from the responsible authorities today, we have PC Tom Stewart on behalf of the police, Julian Trill on behalf of RBKC Noise and Nuisance, and we also have Matt McIlroy who's joined, but I'm not sure if he'll just be here to observe or supporting Julian Trill in his representation.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Who is that?
Matt McIlroy. I don't know, Matt, if you're able to confirm whether or not you intend on speaking on behalf of Noise and Nuisance today.
Oh, I'm just here to observe today.
Perfect.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Excellent. The quorum for this committee is 2, as there is always the possibility that I may lose connection temporarily during the broadcast. I am nominating Councillor Rossi to be appointed as the substitute chair. Councillor Lindsay, can you confirm that you second this nomination?
I'm willing to confirm that nomination, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. I confirm that Councillor Rossi has been appointed substitute chair. The procedure of the meeting has been circulated with the papers. However, in summary, I confirm firstly, the licensing officer will give a brief outline of the 10. The premises user, Mr. Etienne, will go next. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to present his submission. Questions may then be asked of the premises user by the committee, the police, environmental health, and our legal officer. Then I will ask the police, PC Tom Stewart, to present his objection. He will have up to 10 minutes to do so. Questions may then be asked of the police by the committee, Mr. Etienne, and our legal officer. Environmental health will go next, and Mr. Julian Trill will present his objection for up to 10 minutes. Questions may then be asked by the environmental health, by the committee, Mr. Etienne, and our legal officer. We will ask questions of environmental health. Finally, I will turn to the governance team to see if there are any issues have been raised that we need to consider. There will be no summing up, and the committee will then adjourn for a short period to make our decision. We will reconvene to verbally announce the decision today. Let's get going. Mr. Phelan, please can you outline the 10 and confirm whether there are any additional papers?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, members of the subcommittee, good morning. The subcommittee is asked to consider objections to a temporary event notice submitted by Mr. Adam Etienne to use a forecourt area of Flat B, 237 Ladbroke Grove, London, W10 6HG. The 10 seeks permission for the sale by retail of alcohol on and off the premises. Mr. Etienne is proposing to use a platform area directly outside the residential premises for a sale of alcohol during Notting Hill Carnival on Sunday the 24th and Monday the 25th of August 2025 between the hours of midday and 7 p.m. The sales are proposed to take place from this outdoor forecourt area. For reference, Chair, a copy of the temporary event notice and site plan are attached as Appendix A. The temporary event notice submitted by Mr. Etienne has attracted representations from both PC Tom Stewart on behalf of the Metropolitan Police and Mr. Philip Richardson on behalf of the Council's Noise and Nuisance Team. PC Stewart has submitted an objection on the grounds of the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety. A copy of PC Stewart's representation is attached as Appendix B. Mr. Philip Richardson has also submitted an objection on the grounds of the prevention of public nuisance and public safety. A copy of Mr. Richardson's representation is attached as Appendix C. Relevant extracts from the Council Statement of Licensing Policy are attached as Appendix D, Chair. A map of the 2024 Carnival footprint indicating the parade route, location of sound system, bars, street trading sites, safe areas, and other matters is attached as Appendix G. For clarity, Chair, this map is for illustrative purposes only, as a map for 2025 is yet to be finalised. A list of temporary event notices received so far for this year's Carnival is attached as Appendix H. This list excludes notices which have been withdrawn or issued with a counter notice. Some of the notices detailed may still be under consultation. Finally, Chair, I can confirm that the following additional documents were circulated. An email from the Metropolitan Police containing a link to 3 BBC News articles relating to Notting Hill Carnival and a map detailing proposed 10 locations. You will now hear from the premises user and those who have made representations. I am happy to provide any further clarification as required. I'll leave it there for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Now, before Mr. Etienne speaks, can we have a map up there showing exactly where his proposed bar will be, and we can see the context of other premises nearby? Was that exhibition? Okay, we have that. And do you have exhibition? Was it G or H, Holly? Which shows where
Yes,
the
if
other.
you'd like that one shown first, I can go straight to it now.
Okay, fine. Okay, so here, Mr. Etienne, this is where your bar will be, right? Outside on the street here?
Correct, yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to get an idea. And when you say on and off, you're in the basement flat, right?
On the basement flat. So what I intend to do is erect a platform there so I can maximize the space and serve drinks including alcohol, but also water and soft drinks and other refreshments.
Okay. Now, please start your presentation and feel free to turn your camera on. That would be helpful.
Sure.
You have 10 minutes.
Thank you. So I've been attending the Notting Hill Carnival for pretty much all my life. I've seen it go from a small carnival to now what it is, where there's over 2 million people in that area in North Kensington. Over the last couple of years, more specifically, whilst I've lived at flat B237, I've seen a lot of things happen in terms of people getting dehydrated, people having anxiety attacks. I've even seen a police horse collapse, more than likely due to dehydration. That kind of sparked the idea for me to serve drinks, including alcohol as well, but more soft drinks, water, coconut water, just to sort of manage that anxiety and claustrophobia that people tend to have, including myself, throughout the Notting Hill Carnival. The Sunday's usually for kids and families, so I feel like that would work best. The Mondays are obviously for adults, but my intention is to serve drinks in a controlled way, have as much low risk as possible, and also to appoint the relevant people. So, for instance, SIA trained and first aid trained staff to cordon off the premises and direct people in and on and off the property. Initially, I did apply to have it off the property, and then speaking to the relevant parties, I realized that it's better to have it off. I do have a quite large following in terms of people that attend the Notting Hill Carnival. So what I intended to do was have a pre-booking system in place where people could actually place their orders beforehand, just to minimize the crowds and the congestion outside flat 237. That's mainly what the purpose of it is for.
Okay, are you finished?
I am, yes.
Oh, okay. Now we'll have some questions from the committee. Councillor Rossi?
Yes. Okay, firstly, you talk about hydration. Alcohol is dehydrating, so that to me doesn't add up. If you're concerned about people who are going to pass out from not being hydrated, because I think we all know that if you drink alcohol, that dehydrates you. The other thing is just simply you are on the main carnival route. You say you've got a maximum of 300 people. How are you going to control that? How did you come to that figure? And, you know, there'll be many more than 300 people walking past your door. So how did you come to the figure of 300?
So on the application, I've realized that with the 10, obviously you could apply for a 10 at any point throughout the year. So there isn't a specific, usually they give you a specific number. I believe the 300 was the maximum amount I can do at that time. Because it's Notting Hill Carnival, obviously that sparked the conversation of how we could actually put the number in. But I couldn't put 2 million people because there wasn't an option to put that, because it's Notting Hill Carnival.
Okay, I think my question is around not on the kind of specific 300 number, but in terms of crowd control, how are you going to be able, how many people can you serve at once? And how are you going to be able to sort of control your sales with the flow of people going down the street?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have people coming off the street by the staircase. serve them, that would take maximum about 30 seconds. As well as the pre-booking system where people could come beforehand, before the crowd picks up around midday, and at least they have that option to get what they need to get and carry on the carnival route.
Okay.
Okay, next, Councillor Lindsay.
Thank you for what you've just said. Just before we start, there's a picture in front of us with the little red line. Can you confirm exactly where the stage and the stall will be? And my sort of follow-up to that is, are you planning to use any of the pavement whatsoever for your selling of juices, water and alcohol?
So, I mean, you can't see it clearly from the lining that I've put, but there are the bin sheds that kind of go inside towards the flat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a platform on top of that just to get a bit more space. That's where the red line comes in. So that's going to be the platform. And drinks will be served off the pavement, not on the pavement.
I suppose what I'm slightly getting at is we are all aware of the issues, and you talked about it yourself, of how the carnival has grown. The police are concerned, and rightly, about numbers. They're also concerned about the possibility of crushing. But in terms of a very limited crush, if you've got large numbers of people, with the best will in the world, some of them are not going to pre-book. How do we minimize? How are you planning to minimize any little local areas of crushing just by your flat?
So this is where the SIA officers come in, where they could cordon them off the street. There is the side street on St. Charles Square as well. And we could actually just have people come off the street and we would direct them towards the flat once it's less congested.
Okay, thank you for that. Related question. What do you think of the police concerns about the crush and their concerns about the crush and the size of the carnival? Are they legitimate? And how do you want to be helping their concerns?
I think it's 100% legitimate, especially seeing what's been happening over the last couple of years. This is where me having the relevant people comes in, where they could actually direct the people throughout. The thing is, with the Notting Hill Carnival, it's very inevitable that it is going to get crowded. I've seen it happen over the last couple of years, and regardless if it's down the road by Sainsbury's, further up the road, the person right next door to me, he's been selling alcohol and drinks for the last 3 or 4 years, and I've seen it work. I think the fact that we're just off St. Charles Square is not bang in the middle of the main road on Ladbroke Grove, that plays a part in it as well, where people could kind of come off of the main route and, you know, sort of take a breather, take a break, and then they could actually come in and get the drinks that they need. So it's not just about alcohol, it's also about hydrating them. So I know the last lady that spoke before, she mentioned that alcohol is dehydrating. Absolutely it is. But it's also about giving people what they need. So it's coconut water, electrolytes, water, soft drinks, etc.
Okay, and my final question, Mr. Etienne, is I'm sure you've been through the report of the different officers. How would you critique the police report of what their observations are of your application?
How would I critique it?
Is it fair? Is it not fair? And a little bit more than that.
I think it's fair within reason. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not fair. It's absolutely not fair. But I also think that there are many other people within the North Kensington area, whether it's local shops, whether it's stores, that is contributing to the congestion of the Notting Hill Carnival. I'm not going to say that me having my stall is not going to make a difference, because it will, and it is on the main Ladbroke Grove Road. But there are other parts throughout the North Kensington area that also contribute to it and have been contributing to it for the last how many other years. And I think once everything is done well, once I'm able to mitigate the crowd that is coming in, I think everything should be fine. I don't intend to sell to 2 million people. So I think it's not going to disrupt the flow of traffic. In a case, it's more contributing to the well-being of people. I know the main focus in this whole conversation right now is the alcohol, but alcohol is just alongside everything else: the fresh juices, the water, the soft drinks, etc.
Okay, thank you for that, Madam Chairman. That, I think, is my 3 questions. So over to you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Etienne, can you tell me, is that staircase downstairs that goes off on the right where the gate is that the only access up and down from the flat?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and usually these are very narrow. So how are we going to get people going in both directions?
It's probably about 2 meters long. So I think we're more than capable to have the flow of people coming in and out of that.
I agree with the length, but I'm just trying to think if there's not going to be a bottleneck at the bottom. And talk me through, I'm walking down the street. There's no bar on the street. Am I correct? Yes or no?
Right. Correct.
So do I have to go down the stairs to your flat to get a drink, or will it be down there in the little courtyard there?
So it would be in the little courtyard where the red lining is. That's where the stage would be. They would come in through the gates. They would be served there, and then they would come back out.
Okay. And have you ever done this before, this kind of a model?
I haven't, no.
Okay. And you say that the neighbor did something similar. Which number was the neighbor?
I can't remember the flat, but it's directly next door to how we're looking at it, it's on the right-hand side.
So the gray door or the one next to the gray?
On the right side. The other one.
The other one, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the left-hand side from flat B.
Right, okay. And are you planning to play music?
No. I think we have enough music outside.
That's sure. Okay. And is there a specific theme or specific island that you'll be having a theme, that sort of thing?
So it's more like a tiki bar. So that's sort of the theme I intend on going for. You know, where you sell the coconut water, juices, and alcohol as well, yeah.
Okay. And how are you planning to deal with rubbish?
So rubbish, I'm going to have it downstairs in my flat.
I see, okay. So people will be able to go into the flat or not?
In the corridor.
Inside the flat in the corridor?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, does the committee have any more questions? Councillor Rossi, I see your hand is up.
Yes. Mr. Etienne, you say that you're going to have CIA trained people there and first aid trained people.
Correct.
So what I'm asking you is, as far as I understand it, there has been no risk assessment taken, or you don't have a management plan. So if you have in mind to put in these trained people, why have you not submitted a management plan and a risk assessment? Thank you.
So initially on the 10, I wasn't able to actually put the risk assessment in and the management plan. Obviously, this is the first time I'm making this application. So I'm more than happy to forward over a risk assessment or management plan.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Lindsay, any further questions?
Thank you, but no thank you.
Okay, let's ask our legal officer. Do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I've just got two. In terms of drinks, what drinks will you be actually selling?
Coconut water, fresh juices, soft drinks, and a rum punch.
Rum punch.
Yeah.
So no bottles. How is that supplied?
That would be supplied in plastic cups with a lid on it.
Plastic cups. And the coconut water, are they in cans or?
No. Fresh coconut water from the actual coconuts, and it's going to be poured into the plastic cups.
So they're all in plastic cups. Thank you.
Yes.
And in terms of the people you have helping you, how many SIA and how many other people?
So I'm going to have 3 SIA officers, and I'm going to have 4 other people helping me serve.
And you said one will be first aid trained.
All the SIA officers will be first aid trained.
First aid trained. Thank you very much. That's all the questions I had.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Any questions from the police?
Good morning, Chair. No questions from myself. Thank you.
Any questions from environmental health?
Good morning, Chair. No, the legal officer had asked the questions that I was also going to ask, so no questions for myself.
Okay, now for the police objection. PC Tom Stewart, please can you present your submission? Please turn your camera on and you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, members.
Good morning.
I'm PC Tom Stewart. I'm representing the Metropolitan Police today. I'm here to object to the temp event notice in respect of flat B 237 Ladbroke Grove for the Notting Hill Carnival weekend. The premises user proposes obviously to sell alcohol on and off the premises during Notting Hill Carnival, and I'll outline our objections in regards to the prevention of crime and disorder as well as public safety. As you probably already know, Notting Hill Carnival is Europe's largest street festival, drawing in nearly 2 million attendees over the bank holiday weekend. The sheer scale of the event creates enormous challenges around congestion, crowd control, public order, and emergency service access. The MPS, in partnership with the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, as well as Notting Hill Carnival Limited, who runs the event, spend months planning the official layout, including the sound systems, bars, as well as streets of vendors, welfare areas, all with crowd dynamics and safety in mind. Allowing unplanned and ad hoc bars selling alcohol in the middle of that footprint undermines that careful planning. To put this into perspective, the Met Police Commissioner, as well as the Assistant Commissioner, recently mentioned in 2 BBC News articles that they have serious concerns, and they have a concern that there's a potential of a mass fatality event at Carnival. So there are legitimate concerns, obviously raised by the highest officers in the Metropolitan Police. In regards to the actual location itself, The premises proposed to sell alcohol from a private flat on the Carnival's main possession route. This area already experiences some of the highest crowd densities during the event. Ladbroke Grove itself is almost synonymous with the event itself. The pictures of the crowd levels at certain points of the parade route on Ladbroke Grove have been provided in additional submissions that I sent in, and they show just how busy the crowd is in certain areas of Ladbroke Grove. I don't propose to ask Holly to put it on the screen, but if she has it to hand, that would be useful. But otherwise, they are there available for yourselves if you want to take a look. This particular location is incredibly densely populated, and then there can be choke points. The sale of alcohol here will attract people to congregate, increasing dwell time, and lead to potential crowd compression. This could significantly disturb the crowd flow and cause dangerous surges, especially if queues form or alcohol-fueled behaviour escalates. The majority of the floats that are on the procession route consist of articulated lorries which pass within inches of people lining the parade route, and so we need to try our best to make sure we're not adding anything that might impinge on these routes, because these lorries do pass incredibly closely to where people are still on the pavements. As already mentioned, within the 10 application, there's no information about stewarding, security, or emergency contingency planning. Today, this morning was the first I've heard that there was going to be a potential SIA security as well as stewards or first aid to train people involved. This obviously does fall short of RBKC's licensing expectations, which require applicants to demonstrate how they would manage risk, work with the council and the police, and provide an event management plan. None of this has been done prior to the hearing today. This obviously goes against the licensing policy, in particular 25.4 to 25.11, which does clearly advise applicants to demonstrate how they will support the licensing objectives, prevent additional strain on emergency services, control numbers and queuing, as well as drafting event management plans and engaging with the police and licensing authority prior to submitting the temporary event notice. Again, this hadn't been done. Also, paragraph 25.11 confirms evidence from the police and other responsible authorities must be given weight, and we have raised serious concerns based on crime trends, crowd risk and lack of planning, which must be carefully considered today. In regards to the alcohol sales, alcohol and crime at Carnival are closely linked. The sale of alcohol from ad hoc pop-up bars increases street-level intoxication, which can lead to both potential disorder as well as vulnerability. The MPS has consistently dealt with high levels of assaults, robberies, and antisocial behaviour, much of which is fuelled by the consumption of alcohol during Carnival. Selling alcohol from a flat not designed for public use with little to no security control mechanisms will add to this problem. And furthermore, it does appear that potentially, I know Mr. Etienne has said that he intends for people to come down into the basement, but in my experience, it will be more likely that it will be tempted to serve over the railings into the street, which obviously in itself would be breaching street trading regulations, as a street trading license would be required for any sales that take place from a private address into a highway. And these permits will not be granted by RBKC in regards to private addresses. To conclude, this application has been submitted without any of the safeguards or engagement expected under either Licensing Act or RBKC's own policy. There's no crowd management plan, there's no stewarding, no engagement with the emergency services, and there's a potential risk of unauthorised street trading. Just to pick up on a couple of things mentioned in Mr. Etienne's submission before I conclude. Sorry, before I finish. In regards to, I completely understand his point of view in regards to providing amenity and safe haven to Carnival goers, but there is significant provision available on the Carnival footprint in regards to medical water provision. If you look at the map that was provided from last year, where Mr. Etienne's flat is, immediately behind it is a first aid point, which would be manned by St. John's Ambulance. And that is directly behind the block of flats of where the proposed 10 is. In regards to his neighbour who sold alcohol last year, his neighbour had a temporary notice submitted this year, and it was counter-noticed based upon police and environmental health objection. So he will not be selling alcohol this year. And in regards to the platform, I would defer mainly to environmental health and safety, but the idea of installing a platform which members of the public are expected to walk on or be closely in proximity to, without providing any information as to how this platform is going to be built or what it's made of, also causes a lot of concern in regards to just the physical safety of anybody actually attending this particular premises. So the police do ask that the committee issue a counter notice in order to promote the prevention of crime disorder and promote the public safety licensing objectives. Those are my submissions, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Holly, could you put the map up, please, or the surrounding area map? Okay, for context.
So if you say where it says 2A,
Yes.
Holly, that's just to the left, the top left of where the premises location is.
Okay, so where is the,
So there's a green cross. If we look between 2A
Yeah.
and 2C to the
Yeah.
right hand side, that's it there. So that block there to the right is the block of flats of where this proposed location is.
okay. Committee, are you happy with this? You can see everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll have questions from the committee. We'll start with Councillor Rossi, please.
Yes, if you could, PC Stewart, how much of the objection, and we have read everything, if this application were not on the main route, how much of the objection is due to the fact it just happens to be on the main carnival route? If it were a few roads away, would it cause you as much concern?
So there is a significant portion of our issues being that it's on the main procession route. That is by far the highest risk and the highest risk that we can have. And in terms of it being somewhere else, it obviously would have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. But there are several other routes and roads within the footprint where we also have serious concerns about crowd congestion. We also have a lot of concern about people selling alcohol from their front gardens, whether it's on a particularly busy area or not. That front gardens or particularly basement front areas are just not suitable for this sort of activity. So although I can't sort of say that we object to every single one, those considerations are taken into account, particularly with the potential issues around street trading. But the main concern in regards to this one is the fact that it's on the parade route. Although Mr. Etienne obviously is concentrating on his operation, we have a bigger picture view of the entire footprint, as well as the many other temporary event notices that are being applied for. And there is a potential that there is a cumulative impact of many different temporary event notices, all added up together, do have quite a significant impact on the overall dynamic of Carnival. You know, whereas 110 might not make a huge difference, we have to look at the bigger picture. But in regards to the safety issues, Ladbroke Grove, as you can, I don't know if the pictures are available, but the pictures of what it looked like last year, it's crowded from building line to building line. It is massively congested, and that is a significant reason for why we've objected to this 10.
And could you say a little bit more about the platform? Because I also think this is something we're told, I mean, how dangerous could that be if it's not properly constructed, or if it fell down in the middle of serving people?
Well, I can only give you my layman's point of view. I'm not an expert in public safety. Perhaps Environmental Health might be able to assist, but this is the first that it's been made clear that that's what the intention was. Because of the plan not being particularly detailed and there being no event management plan, it wasn't clear that it was the intention to allow people inside to the basement to purchase their alcohol. I had to make certain assumptions. My assumption would be that they would set up a platform. If it was anything like their neighbour from last year, they had quite a large platform where they stood on it and they served over the railings into the highway. I had to make certain assumptions that that's what the intention was for this one. But even that in itself would be a potential concern. But in terms of building a platform out of plywood or whatever it might be, I would expect anybody to provide details in terms of how they're actually going to do that, whether they've got the relevant qualifications to install something such like that, or if they've got public liability insurance. If they're inviting people into a private address, if someone was to fall down and break their leg, then there needs to be, levels of insurance cover to sort of deal with that sort of thing. So it concerns me in regards to allowing people into a private area. It concerns me if there's going to be a temporary structure built as well.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Lindsay.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart, a couple of questions. You're clearly coming from a police perspective, a safety perspective. Under what circumstances and what's in it for you to say yes to a 10, given what your ultimate boss and one of his, I think, immediate subordinates have said? Because if they're all saying there are risks and there may actually be greater risks this year than last year, surely you would be in a position of actually saying no to everything, which might be rather sad for some of the people who are putting in applications.
Good question, Council. I mean, ultimately, the police can't say no. We can just object, and it's yourself who's the person who has the ability to say no. However, if we can reduce the risk and vulnerability at Carnival by only a small amount by objecting to these temporary event notices, then we will do that. We're not doing blanket objections to every single temporary event notice that has come through. Each one is dealt with on a case-by-case basis, and some have been granted, and several have been counter-noticed. But it's very much based on the location, the experience of the operator itself can come into that. So obviously we do look to see whether people have a personal license, whether they have experience selling alcohol. Even if someone had experience selling alcohol in a pub, it is not the same as selling alcohol from a front garden. The two do not cross over. So whilst we've not been directed by the Commissioner to object to everything, we as a licensing team, we take it, like I said, case by case on its own merit. But if we can reduce the alcohol consumption and provision, that helps reduce alcohol fuel disorder. And if we can point out where there's risks in regards to public safety, then we will do that. Ultimately, yourselves will be the ones to decide whether it needs to be counter-noticed or not. We can only bring our objections to you as best we can.
Thank you, and I understand what you're saying. Roughly how many 10s have you seen? And of those, roughly how many have you objected? And I'm not expecting complete accuracy. I just like a ballpark figure.
I think we probably objected. I don't have the exact numbers to hand. 4 have been counter-noticed so far. I think another 4 are waiting to go to hearing, and the police have objected to another 7. So we are objecting. We are objecting to many more 10s this year, with the intention to try and to make Carnival a safer space. So we are putting a lot more effort in just to for that public safety in particular, as well as crime and disorder as well. That is a big push for us this year.
But just so I'm hearing you rightly, you are allowing, from what you've said, 4 so far to.
It's very dependent. So some 10s have come through, and we've had engagement with the premises user, and we've come to compromise where we feel like their activities aren't going to be massively impactful. The majority of those ones are existing premises, i.e. premises that already sell alcohol, but for whatever reason can't do it on Carnival, or they want to extend their hours, etc. So there are some 10s that we can work with, which we think there's a compromise with. But for the garden bars, particularly in high-risk locations, unfortunately for us, there is little to no compromise or mitigation that can be applied that would make it safe.
Okay, no, thank you for that, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick question from Mr. Etienne. Do you have public liability insurance?
I do have public liability insurance up to 5 million.
Okay, thank you.
And I do have a personal license as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, for PC Stewart, do you see any problems in access to the flat if there is an issue?
I still don't quite. I can't quite put it into my work out in my head how his operation intends to operate, because it's not clear from the plan. I would say any time you're inviting people down into a basement space can be dangerous. If it's during Europe's largest street festival, it's very dangerous. And there's no indication within the 10 or any additional submissions to how he's going to mitigate that risk. If you've got people coming down a steep set of stairs to buy alcohol, and you've got people leaving up a steep set of stairs to leave, there's always a high risk of there being a level of compensation, which it can't be mitigated by having just a member of security. Some things can't be mitigated, and the risk of that sort of operation is high. And the police would just simply recommend that you don't even try and attempt to have any sort of operation like that, because it just seems very dangerous just thinking about it. People going up and down stairs, potentially having a few drinks. If someone comes in and they've had too much to drink and an alcohol, and they are refused alcohol, and they decide they're not going to leave, or people can potentially, if the door's open to the basement, there's not what's to stop them from barging in and stealing. It's effectively opening up a can of worms, which, if there is any particular issue on the day, it will be the police having to respond to it, and the police have other things to be dealing with during Carnival. We don't want to be taken away from other duties to respond to issues arising from a temporary event notice. So I hope that answered your question.
Okay, thank you.
And just to follow up, Mr. Etienne said he had a personal license, but on his temporary event notice, under the question, do you have a valid personal license, he said no.
I got my personal license last week. So yeah, I was actually in the process of applying for it, and I was just waiting for a response. But I did get it last week. And just to point out, with people coming down the basement, I think the last lady asks where am I going to dispose of rubbish? That's where it is. It's going to be downstairs in the basement. People are going to be served by the staircase as soon as you walk in through the gate.
Okay, and then they go into the flat, or they go into your garden in the back? How does that work? Where's the flow?
So it's going to be outside as soon as you walk in. I mean, you could go back to the picture as well, but rather than serving people on the main road, they're going to walk in through the gate. They're going to get served there, and then they're going to go back out.
I see. So are they going into the flat or not?
They're not going into the flat. The rubbish will be downstairs in the flat, the bins and everything, where we're going to dispose of all the plastic cups and wastage.
I see. Okay, I wasn't clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions from the committee?
Yes, if I could, just very briefly. So, Mr. Etienne, if you can confirm that nobody who comes downstairs would be allowed to go to the lavatory if he or she so asked, because they were in need.
Absolutely.
The reason I say that is just because it makes the complexity of downstairs and the difficulties with having rubbish in your corridor more of an issue than it otherwise would be.
So the rubbish in the corridor, I'm going to have bin bags and things to dispose of it. I think one of the main reasons I wanted to do that there as well, and build a platform more specifically, is to stop people from going downstairs in the basement and doing what they usually do during a carnival weekend.
I get that, but my concern is that if people are down in the basement area just in front of your flat, and they say, I really need to go, and you're put into an invidious position, and it is made more complex because there are going to be, admittedly in bags, there are going to be all the rubbish there, and if there's only one entrance and exit, it makes any matters. I mean, if there are problems with people needing to evacuate and exfiltrate quickly, that's just more difficult.
I think when it comes to people, I know how to dissolve a situation. And it's just about being firm but fair and letting them know that they can't do that. And there are a lot of toilets around the Carnival area as well. I think there's one just on the other street. So I think I can get around someone wanting to use the toilet downstairs in the basement.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, any questions from our legal officer?
No questions, thank you.
Any questions from Mr. Etienne?
The one question I do have is, what would a suitable location be in order to serve for the Notting Hill Carnival? PC Stewart.
So Notting Hill Carnival Limited have designated bar areas which are open for people to tender for effectively. So if someone hasn't already got a premises, i.e. a pub, a restaurant, a cafe that sells alcohol, then they can contact Notting Hill Carnival Limited and open into discussion as whether they can be one of their providers, and they will be given a location which is set out within the overall event management plan. So it might be a horse box, or it might be a street trading stall located within the footprint. We're happy that those locations have been fully risk assessed and they are available for people to apply for. That would be an appropriate location, as well as an existing premises that has a license, or existing premises that has a temporary event notices that can mitigate the concerns. Those would be more appropriate to sell alcohol from.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Etienne?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Now for environmental health, Mr. Trill, please can you present your submission? You will turn on your camera, please. I see you have it, and you have up to 10 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you, committee. As you'll be aware, Mr. Richardson submitted an objection to this temporary event notice on the basis of public nuisance and prevention of public nuisance and public safety. Now, let's be clear, this is almost entirely a public safety matter. And I've obviously heard from Mr. Etienne and what he has said in terms of trying to mitigate the risks and to promote the licensing objective in relation to public safety. I'm not going to repeat everything that's been put forward by my police colleague. He's obviously covered everything very well. Our concerns mirror, in terms of public safety, the concerns that he has set out. And obviously you've asked the relevant questions of both the police and Mr. Etienne. As we've already heard, this area of Carnival is possibly the busiest and most densely packed area of Carnival, particularly late afternoon on a Monday. I've personally experienced how busy it is, and it's almost impossible to get quickly around this area. And the reason why we say this kind of operation should not be permitted, and that you should not permit this temporary event notification, temporary event notice, is because any impediment, additional impediment on the Carnival footprint in this kind of area does have an impact on the public safety. You may say, oh, you know, all we can do is take away the alcohol sales, and provided he's in compliant with any street trading requirements, he could still sell his, you know, coconut water and other non-alcoholic drinks. The Licensing Act can't remove that that ability. But obviously, what we say is that even by removing that that percentage of sales of alcohol that may attract additional patrons, it may attract patrons who've already been drinking, which may contribute to public safety issues. We're making a marginal gain. That might be the phrase we would use here, in the sense that this is a small operation. He's not selling to thousands of people here and having hundreds of staff there selling to lots of members of the public. But in and of itself, this small operation can cause impacts to the dynamics of crowd crowds passing through, and we're seeking across the carnival footprint to identify these kinds of issues and to improve carnival. We've heard about the very, very well publicised police concerns in relation to public safety, and we feel duty bound to look at these smaller operations that haven't gone through the planning process, they haven't gone through the Notting Hill Carnival system where they'll be looked at months in advance, and the location and the operation and risk assessments examined. They haven't gone through that process. They're sort of slightly ad hoc setups where only today are we able to hear from the applicant to fully understand exactly how the sales would take place. And I'm still not completely clear how it is. It appears that people can come in and sort of stand in the step area and receive their drinks. So we do feel that if you were to permit this sale, it is something that isn't promoting public safety, and we're not wanting to preserve the status quo of, say, previous carnivals, and say, well, it's not going to make much of a difference. It's a small thing. We're trying to improve carnival. We're trying to make it safer. Public safety has to come first. It is the priority here. And some of the measures Mr. Etienne's put forward about having SIA staff somehow controlling patrons queuing around onto St Charles's Square. In this location, I just can't see that working, particularly during the busy times. Perhaps before 12 o'clock, before the 10 is applied for, that might work. But once Carnival's in full swing, and with the floats coming past, and in the way that communication is so difficult in Carnival because of the noise levels, trying to affect any kind of control is I can't think of a much more challenging environment to do that. And while I applaud Mr. Etienne's desire here to ply his trade and provide water for and other rehydration, which he can still do, we feel that we have to try and control and mitigate any risk, no matter how small it is. If it just makes it 1% safer in this location by not permitting alcohol sales, we feel we have to do that, and by objecting to this temporary event notice and respectfully asking you to issue a counter notice to this. That concludes my presentation. If you've got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. We'll start with Councillor Rossi. Do you have any questions?
Sorry, I was on mute. No questions from me. Thank you.
Councillor Lindsay?
And none from me either.
Okay, and no questions from me either. So we will go to our legal officer. Do you have any questions?
No questions from me either.
Any questions from Mr. Etienne?
No questions for me.
Okay. Now, does our legal officer have any further queries?
No, madam, I have no further queries in relation to this matter.
Okay, and licensing officers, do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add. Thank you for the opportunity, Chair.
Okay, and our governance officers, do you have anything to add?
Nothing further from us at this time. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Okay. Oh, wait, I just have one question here for the police. Mr. Trill mentioned there might be or for Mr. Trill, actually, can you clarify what you mean and where there would be a marginal gain?
Just in the sense that, I can't give figures on this. It is a little bit sort of speculative, but by the fact that you are removing alcohol sales at this location would mean that the actual location is perhaps going to attract less patrons wanting to queue, and so you're just removing something that might cause slightly more of an obstruction and a queuing issue on the carnival footprint. So that would be how I characterise a marginal gain, just by the fact that people who are looking for alcohol will see, okay, I can't get rum punch here or whatever else, I can only get some coconut water. I'll perhaps go around to one of the Notting Hill authorised bar sites where you can buy alcohol at a location that's been properly risk assessed, properly stewarded, has SIA and all of those control measures in place that Mr. Etienne won't necessarily have on the Carnival footprint here.
Okay. So did our governance officers have anything to add?
Nothing further from us now, thank you, Madam Chairman.
Okay, well, we've reached the end of the meeting. The committee will now retire to make our decision in private session. We will reconvene this hearing in 15 minutes to verbally announce our decision. So we will adjourn until 10:46. Is that okay?
Yeah, wonderful. So if everybody else, if you'd like to keep your cameras and microphones off, and film this call, or disconnect and rejoin in time for the decision to be announced at 11:15, and the committee will go and make that decision now.
Okay,
Thank you.
Madam Chairman.
Hello, is everyone back?
Yes,
Mr.
we
Etienne,
are.
Where's Mr. Etienne? There he is, okay.
Yeah, all here.
Okay, excellent. So I confirm I am now reconvening the meeting. The committee has considered objections from the police and the environmental health to a temporary event notice, a 10, which has been given by Mr. Adam Etienne, premises user, for the sale by retail of alcohol on and off the premises at the above premises on Sunday, 24 August 2025 and Monday, 25 August 2025, between the hours of 12 to 19 o'clock for a maximum number of 300 people at any one time. The committee has considered the committee papers and the submissions made by the parties, both orally and in writing. In reaching its decision, the committee has had regard to the relevant legislation, the Secretary of State's guidance, and the authority's statement of licensing policy. In summary, the committee decided, after taking into account all the individual circumstances of the case and the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety licensing objectives, we have decided to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003 for the event. This notice means permission for the licensable activities requested in the 10 has not been approved, and the 10 cannot take place. The committee decided that allowing the 10 would, in this instance, undermine the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public safety licensing objectives, and it determined to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003. A copy of the reasoned decision will be provided without delay. If the premises owner would like to appeal against this decision, such appeal must be made to the magistrate's court within 21 days from the date of notification of the full decision, but in any event, no later than 5 working days before the start of the proposed temporary event. I thank everyone for their time and their submissions. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.